up, everyone? It's your girl Brain Shanae. Today is the 27th of September, and I'm going to try to read this book before October begins, and that is White Smoke by Tiffany D. Jackson. This is her recent book that just came out like a couple weeks ago. So I'm going to read it and pretty much share with you within this blog my first reactions. There's pretty much mixed reviews about this book. There's people that DNF'd it, some people that really enjoyed it but did not like the ending, which the ratings for just the ending alone made it, questionable whether I wanted to read this or not. Now, I have read her other early works of, by Tiffany D. Jackson. I read Allegedly. I've read Monday's Not Coming. I have not read Grown. But I might just do that. I don't know. I recently read a book like this year, that's pretty much similar to the story of Grown. It's called Muted by Tammy Charles. So I was like, well, I read that, and I don't think I should read Grown, but it's on my shelves. I might just do that. I just don't know when I will get to it. But yeah, I'm going to share with you my first reactions as I read this book. So yeah, hopefully I like it. I don't know. I'm very skeptical at this point with the mixed reviews, but yeah, it's going to be an interesting ride. Okay, everyone. So this is September the 28th. You're saying hi? And I'm almost into like 100 pages for White Smoke by Tiffany D. Jackson. First off, like for the first chapter, I'm thinking to myself, okay, you're living in this home that was built in the 1900s. And before I even sign anything, I would like to know who lived in the house prior to me living there. Get my facts and all that. Also know more about Cedarville, the town that they're living in. I want to do my research. I feel like that is a must, especially when you're in a new home, older home, mind you, that's been renovated and whatnot. Like I want to know the history. So I was like, okay, like why would y'all not do that? And then on top of that, the workers running out of the house after their shift was done for that day. I would be wondering, okay, something is not right. They're running away for what? Because they want to get home so quickly? Nah, something ain't right. And so I'm liking it so far. Except, I don't know, they keep bringing up weed and like, I should grow it in one of the old houses that no one lives in, that's next door to them in their little, wherever their house is in Cedarville, they have abandoned homes or whatever. And Marigold, which is the main character, is thinking about, oh, maybe I could grow my own weed. And I'm like, why do we have to always like talk about like drugs and stuff? Like, I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. It seems like it's a stereotype, especially with people of color. Like we're not the only ones that smokes weed and all this other stuff. We're not the history of America, people. Just look that up for the history of America when it comes to weed, okay? Marijuana, whatever. Just do your research on that. And so the blended family, I can tell Marigold and Sammy cannot stand Piper, who is their stepsister, because I guess their mom had, their dad and their mom got divorced. And so she married Alec, who had a daughter, Piper. So they have a blended family. And then Sammy and Marigold's dad, he's from Cali, but he's now in Japan right now. So they still talk to him now and again, but you could tell like the family dynamic, it's a blended family, but they're not on the same page. Like Alec definitely favors his daughter Piper than he does with Sammy and Marigold, and Sammy and Marigold know that. And then on top of that, they're starting to see things in this house, like doors randomly opening, stuff is missing, stuff is not where they had left it. And then you notice Piper, looks like she's losing weight and she's very tired. And then on top of that, they smell this putrid smell that smells terrible, like somebody died. They also feel coldness now and again. And knowing me, watching scary movies and stuff, those are signs, people. Those are signs, type of spirit is living in your home. Point blank, period. Like, but you know, it is what it is. Maybe when you're a kid, you don't really think about all that stuff. But me growing up, literally watching scary movies and horror films since I was like 5 years old, I sort of know a few things about like what to look out for. Like, yeah, but I'm liking it. It's just certain things that I'm starting to get annoyed about a little bit. I do like there is a little thing with Yusuf and Marigold, and then also I like that Marigold is tall. You don't really read a lot of books about girls that are taller than boys, you know, like 6 foot and stuff like that, but Yusuf is also tall, and pretty much he's like eye candy for Marigold. But so far that's where I'm at. And you know, I'm at that point where we know that Marigold likes to run track, but right now she's just trying to be free and try to get in her parents' and her mom's good graces, which I'm trying to figure out what happened when they were in California, because she already has something on her record, which her father brought up. So yeah, it's going good. Like I said, there's some things that I'm disliking, but I'm gonna still keep going. Like I said, I'm almost at the 100-page point, and then I'll pretty much tell you what I feel about the first 100 pages that I've read. But right now I am listening to it on audiobook since I'm in my car. So I mean, I feel like I did read the physical book, and I think I like the audiobook a lot better. Just to give you a different preference, if you don't want the physical copy, I would suggest the audiobook, because it might make it better for you and more entertaining, if that makes sense. But yeah, I will keep you posted later today. All right, y'all. So I'm out in the car waiting for my daughter to get out of school. But I wanted to think about, remember how I said how Marigold's mom and dad had gotten a divorce? I find that is like a trend lately where a lot of Black families are divorced or separated, stuff like that. And it sort of bothers me a little bit. I know that some authors feel like that, you know, mentioning that is sort of possibly will help with the sales and stuff like that. But I don't find it really appealing of broken homes, because that's not always the case. It's just, like I said, it's a trending type of thing where the family is always separated, you know, and the parent was, you know, the dad or the mom didn't want to really have a family, didn't want to interact with the family, didn't want to have nothing to do with the family. It's just a lot of, you know, I don't know. I just know that's, like I said, that's not always the case. So I think about that a lot, you know, like why families, especially Black families, are always broken. You know, why is that a trend? I really hope that in some books, like this year, I have read books that their family wasn't broken, but I find it very, very rare, a rare case where the Black family is together and strong, you know? But I wanted to ponder that for a second to see your thoughts on what y'all think about that. Y'all could leave that in the comment section. But yeah, I just want to ponder on that. I have completely finished reading the 100 pages. The pace is good. It's crazy because Marigold brings up Percocet and weed. She needs weed. No, I need perk, you know, it's just weird. And then we find out, you know, there she was arrested and stuff like that. And another reason why they moved from Cali, because her last school, she pretty much was kicked out of her last school due to what she was doing. So yeah, I don't know. I'm still pondering it. I'm still soaking it all in. I probably will read another 100 pages today, but I'm not sure. I'm still trying to reflect on what I just read, but I will let y'all know my thoughts. I'm trying to be real and try to be honest as best as I can as I'm reading this, and trying to keep an open mind as I read this. Not every book is perfect, but I just feel like there's a lot of things that I'm constantly reading on occasion that's just like the same things. There's certain topics, like I said, with the Black family always separated and stuff like that, or single moms or single dads, stuff like that. So yeah, I will come back to y'all once I read a little bit more, but right now I'm just listening to it on audiobook. Hey, what's up everyone? It's your girl Brain Shanae. Today is the 29th of September. I didn't really give you pretty much of an update yesterday. I really didn't read or listen to the audiobook as much yesterday. But I am listening to the audiobook now as I'm driving, and it's sort of weird, and it's interesting how, like, when you're surrounded by, like, say, like, black neighbors and stuff like that, and you're particularly, and you're white, and someone, it looks like someone broken into your home, the first thing you say is, these damn neighbors, these thugs and stuff like that. I'm gonna think to myself, like, thugs, like, okay, you're jumping to conclusions, but secondly, why thugs? Why is it always, since you're in a black neighborhood or you have black neighbors, they're automatically thugs or a mob or whatever? You know, like, I don't get it. But I will say, in the book, when they come back from this party for the residency program that Marigold's mom, Raquel, is in, which is the reason why they live in the house they do now, you know, they come back from the party, next thing you know, their house is just everything's all over the place, everything's broken, except for Piper's room. Nothing, not one single thing has been touched. So I'm thinking to myself, like, come on, y'all gotta see this. Why is her room the only one that did not get messed up, or none of her stuff was touched? Neither was Alex's stuff was touched, but everybody else, Raquel's, Marigold, and Sammy's rooms were just destroyed. Everything. Marigold's mom's writing, you know, because she's trying to write a book, all the papers are tore up and everything like that. Everybody's computers, Sammy's Xbox, everything is destroyed except Piper's and Alex's belongings. And I'm looking at myself, I would think, like, okay, something's not adding up. But that's at the point where I am now. I'm sorry, it's a lot of spoilery things, but I'm sorry. I feel like I need to, like, because I don't know any other way to express what this book is about, but I will say, I don't know, this book is okay. I'm getting more into it. Marigold starts to find out more about the house, who lived in it, and there's something lives in the house, and Marigold was able to get that information from Yusuf. And Yusuf's pretty much the only boy in town, which is very funny because there's more girls than boys in this town. So all the girls is all up on Yusuf, you know, pretty much probably trying to get to know him better, or trying to be his girlfriend, you know, stuff in that nature. So I don't know. I'm taking everything in. I'm getting from all these perspectives on things about how I feel about the book, if things could be researched better. That's where I am at this point, where I'm just trying to really critically analyze this book, because, like I've said before, I keep hearing a lot of mixed reviews about this book. I keep hearing that people love this book, and some people did not like it at all. Some people DNF'd this book. So it's like, okay, I gotta critically analyze this book and figure out if, you know, if I really enjoy it or if I like it. But right now, like I said, I'm listening to an audiobook. But yeah, I just thought I'd just show my face, give you my updates on everything. But yeah, I'll keep y'all posted, hopefully later on today, if I'm not too tired to do it. But yeah, I'll see y'all later. Alec doesn't piss me off. I have to say this because literally, you know, Marigold is going through all these situations where a lot of superstitious things are happening with to her in her room, where, you know, they got, you know, a guy holding her blanket in the corner, he's facing the corner. Then you got her phone just buzzing off multiple times when she didn't set any alarm, and so she's thinking it's Piper. And so she went ahead and got Piper and snatched her up. And then the moment she snatched her up, Alec, Piper's dad, comes into Marigold's face, Amari's face, saying that if you touch my daughter again, and then that's when Marigold's mom steps in saying, "You'll do nothing. You touch children, you touch people's children and stuff like that." So I'm thinking that's a red flag right there. If a man can't treat your children like they're his own and stuff, that's a problem. And I feel like y'all shouldn't even be together. You know what I mean? Like, if y'all gonna have a blended family, Marigold should also be considered his daughter, his child, and Sammy's, and Sammy should also be Alex's child as well. You married into the family, you are the stepfather. But then you do that, I'm like, no, Raquel, no. And also, when I think about how they mentioned how Raquel and Alec met, I know that Marigold and Sammy's biological dad and their mom, Raquel, they divorced or whatever. They went their separate ways. But I feel like if you're going to have a blended family, you should still take the kids into consideration on how they feel about the matter, and also to see if they get along with the dude or with the man or the woman or whatever, and also with the children. You see what I'm saying? Because then the dynamic is not going to flow. It's not going to work. It's just not it. So yeah, Alec done pissed me off with that. I'm like, whoa, bro, you need to back up. Like, ain't no way. Like, yeah, I remarried or whatever, and the man just snatches up my daughter. Excuse me, or not snatches up, but points at her like, if you touch my daughter again, I'll, like, some threats. I'm like, that's not gonna work for me. Not gonna work for me. But yeah, this is. I'm not saying I'm not enjoying it. It's just some things that irk me to the point where I'm like, all right, I don't know if I can take any more of it. But I'm going to continue. I'm listening. Like I said, I'm listening to the audiobook. I got maybe like 4 hours left. So I might be able to finish it today. Hopefully tomorrow morning. But yeah, Alec done pissed me off, y'all. Also, I meant to say, like, when their house looked like it was broken into and everything like that, Raquel did put Alec in his place. Raquel, if I remind you again, that's Marigold's mom, and Alec is Piper's dad. So it's Marigold's stepdad. And she put him in his place when he was like, these people aren't appreciative. They never want to help themselves. They're always vandalizing people's property. And I'm like, whoa. I got so annoyed right there. I'm like, seriously? Like, I'm glad Raquel put him in his place, but I mean, I don't know. It's always a thing. It's always a thing. It's these people, those people. I'm like, all right, y'all killing me with that. Y'all really killing me with that. But yeah, I just had to add that in because I got so annoyed, with that. It made me stop listening to the audiobook just for a second because I don't know. I don't know I just don't know. I'm glad, like I said, that Raquel had said something. I will say that. She did stand up to him and say that. Like, you don't know what these people have gone through. You need to stop. Yeah, to stop. You're a white man. You don't know what these people have gone through, the struggle. They have gone through nothing. So just chill out, pretty much. So, yeah. But I just wanted to add that to that because that really sort of got to me. I'm like, oh, here we go again. Can we have some positive, something positive? Something. It seems like there's a lot of, I will say there's a lot of negative vibes within this book. Like, I get it. It's a thriller or horror book, whatever. It's thriller, I'm sure. Yeah, it's a thriller book. But, like, I want some positivity of some positive vibes in this book. Yes, some positive. There's just been a lot of negative so far. So, hopefully there is something good, within this book that we could discuss, because I get it, like, it's still showing the struggle of Black people, but also it should also represent the goodness of what Black people do, like, like what we have been through. Even though we've gone through that, we still rose to the occasion and became something of ourselves. Like, it's always portrayed as we're always down, we're always struggling. No, not the case. We have our own Black businesses. We have our own Black banks now. Like, let's just take a minute of, like, Black joy, you know what I mean? But anyway, I just thought I'd bring that up. But yeah, I'm gonna continue on reading it. I'm trying to get to at least page 200, and so, like, my 100 pages for today. And then hopefully I can finish the book tomorrow before October begins. And then I know that I have to still do my September wrap up. So yeah, I got a lot I got going on, but I'm gonna get to it. I promise. I promise. All right, y'all. Today is the 30th of September. And I'm still reading and listening to White Smoke by Tiffany D. Jackson. I'm at a point where there's police, trigger warnings for, there's there's police brutality with a student, a teenager. And I'm not all for it. I don't like that. I really don't. Like, okay, you say you caught her with drugs or whatever. Fine. But then you slam her head against the lockers? Like, yeah, that's crazy. And I'm trying to figure out the point of this, like, this part of the book, this scene in this book, like, if it's relevant to what's going on. Because I don't know, it just came out randomly, like after Marigold had an episode, with her anxiety. I wouldn't call it episodes, or you can call it episode, but she has anxiety, and she had pretty much.
I'm going to school.
She pretty much had, I'm taking her to school right now. She pretty much had an anxiety attack because she thought that they had bed bugs. And so the day after, when she had this anxiety attack, she goes to school, and next thing you know, Erica, who she just met, who I think she considers her friend, somehow gets caught, they say slinging, which is in other words, like selling the weed, which is not true. And it seems like it was planted into her locker. So, I don't know. I just don't like, I get it that, yeah, it may have happened, but the police brutality and stuff like that, handcuffing her and slamming her against the locker, I don't agree with. I think possibly that could have been left out in the book, because I'm trying to figure out what's the relevance of that part of the story to what's going on with Marigold and her family, Piper, Sammy, and her stepdad Alec, and her mom Raquel. Like, I don't know. It's just, it's really interesting. So yeah, I just wanted to bring that up. I just don't like that. When I hear about something like with a teenager, and also just police brutality in general, it bothers me, which I'm sure bothers a lot of people. It triggers a lot of people, which I also feel like there should be content warnings in the book prior to somebody reading it. I didn't really see it when I got my copy of the book. I didn't see any content warnings or trigger warnings or whatever, because I know some people, authors, have started doing that in their books, and I don't know why this particular book didn't have any content warnings. So yeah, I'm just letting you know about that right here and now. Like, if you are going to read it, there's a lot of content / trigger warnings in this book, so definitely wanted to give you a heads up on that. But I'm about to drop off my daughter. Good morning. It's 8:33 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in Columbus, Ohio. So yeah, about to drop off my daughter. Might do a couple of things today, and then keep listening and see. I'm almost done with the book, so I'm gonna keep listening to this book and read it and see what I think and my overall review about the book. Alright, y'all, I just dropped off my daughter. I'm at this point where after Erica is brutally arrested, Marigold comes home, and pretty much her mom is having her take a drug test because she doesn't really trust her. And then she mentions that, Marigold, she did overdose when they lived in Cali. And I'm thinking to myself, you should trust your daughter, but also you have to figure out why she's doing this, why this happened. Now, I know parents do the best that they can. I'm a mother, I know, and I do the very best I can to raise my kids. But I also know that if they overdose and everything, I'm gonna be attentive to them. I'm going to talk to them, make sure they're okay, because you don't know what goes on a regular basis with your child, especially when they're not with you. And that's why I always ask my daughter, how was your day? Do you have any problems at school? If there's something you need to let me know. And she tells me everything. we have that connection. She tells her dad we have that connection. She knows, that we're always going to be here for her, and that we care. There was one point where she was being bullied at school, and her dad was like, if she does that again, you pop her in the eye. And the girl did bother her again, and Kiana popped her in the eye, and now they're best friends right today. So it's just crazy. But yeah, just her being willing to tell us what's going on and being truthful is amazing. And I feel like with Raquel, trusting Marigold, her own daughter, I feel like that's something, that needs to be brought up. Like, yeah, I get it. Like, you think, like, you're blaming her. That's the reason why Erica got arrested, because she was selling you weed, and she's coming up with all these assumptions that aren't correct. So it's just, I think that Raquel, she's trying to be the best mom that she can be, but I feel like she also needs to look at the bigger picture, and, think about stuff before she reacts. But that's my take on it. I'm going to keep on listening. I probably won't have an update until later on today. I'm going to try to finish this book and then give you my full scope and review about it. All right, y'all. Pretty much I have 30 minutes left of the audiobook. And I will say, like, when Mari talks to Piper about everything, and Piper confesses, like, Miss Sugar is, like, sort of pretty much the replacement of her grandmother that passed away. And, she was acting out, doing what she thought best, to get attention and stuff, because her grandmother was everything to her. And I feel for Piper on that, because I was in her shoes a few years ago, and I was in high school, my sophomore year. My grandmother passed away, and she was everything to me. Like, my grandma raised me, like, I was always at her house, always, constantly. And at that time, I felt like she was the only one that loved me and really cared about me. And so when she passed away, it hit me hard. It hit me really, really hard. And I started doing things that I wouldn't say I regret today, but I wished that people noticed what was going on. Some people, my parents didn't know, my sister didn't know. I didn't really tell nobody until I met my husband, and he was the only one that was in my corner saying that he's going to be there for me. And just having someone be in your corner, it's amazing. It makes you feel like you're not alone, you're not by yourself. Sorry, I'm getting a little emotional. But yeah, so I feel for Piper when it comes to that. Especially like when you're not getting any attention from your stepsister, your stepbrother, So you're like, okay, I'm just gonna act out, Maybe one day somebody will notice, that I need attention, I want attention, and I feel for Piper. So I wanted to just say that, because I get it. I completely get it. But yeah, I'm about to finish this audiobook, and then I'll come to my conclusion about what I think of this book. All right, y'all. I'm sorry, I'm in my car. I just went to the grocery store because we needed milk. But anywho, I finished White Smoke, and I did not like how it ended. It didn't make any sense to me. Like, it just abruptly just it ended. There was no, like, conclusion to nothing. We don't know what happened to Marigold's brother Sammy after, he was pretty much, he was allergic to something. So Miss Sugar or whatever tried to kill him. So, he was allergic to peanut butter, and so he had this reaction. He's alive, but we don't know what happened to him. I'm trying to figure out, okay, they arrested Erica. What was the point of you adding that into the book if we don't know what happened to Erica after she got arrested? That also, boggles my mind, because I'm like, okay, Erica got arrested. What's next? What happens to her? Nothing. So it's like, I felt like that was a fill-in in the book in a way, like, even though it wasn't necessary. Like I said, it abruptly ended. I liked it, but I'm a little bit disappointed. I mean, I've read Allegedly. I've read Monday's Not Coming by Tiffany D. Jackson. I haven't read Grown yet, but I like those two books. And this one was, I was hyped. I was getting ready for this book. I was so hyped for it, and then I just did not really. I wanted to like it, but I just couldn't, like, especially how it ended. So yeah, it just baffles my mind on how it ended. But I finished it. I'm about to get this milk and get into the house. But I just wanted to let y'all know about, yeah. But I'm not going to give y'all my rating yet until once I get into the house, maybe probably even tomorrow, where I just like ponder and let it soak in on what I read. So that's probably what I'll do. I'll probably come back tomorrow, tell y'all what I really think and my full review about it as I ponder and think about what I just read. But yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed right now. Okay, everyone, it is the next day. It is October the 1st, which is the beginning of Black Weenathon. So if you haven't checked out my announcement or my Black Weenathon TBR, I will leave the links up above so you can check that out. But so, as you can see with my reading blog for White Smoke, I finished it last night. I wanted to ponder on what I read. And for what I'm giving it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. Just because the ending was very abrupt. There was like no solution to anything. It made it feel like there would be a second book, which I don't think that was Tiffany D. Jackson's attempt to do that. Like, I don't think she meant for that to be how it was, but I don't know. I was very frustrated with a couple of things within the book, as you can see during my reading vlog. And I really did not, I did not like this ending of this book. I was expecting so much more. Like, I wanted to know what happened to Erica, what happened to John, what happened to Sammy. Like, are they leaving the town? Are they going to stay there and stick it out? Is her mother, Marigold's mother, Raquel, is her residency going to still continue? Or will they have to move back to Cali? Like, there was no, like, resolution. There was, like, nothing. No conclusion, no nothing. That was that. So it's like, is there going to be a second book? I really don't think so. I don't think this is, like, a series or a duology. So it was very frustrating. I also give this a 3.5 because also with the police brutality within this book, which is very much like a small clip of the book of Erica being arrested. But she was brutally arrested and had her head slammed into a locker, which I find that very irrelevant to the story. On top of that, since she doesn't bring Erica back up after her being brutally arrested, it made it felt like it shouldn't have been in the book in itself. I felt like it could have been left out, or like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't get it. I don't understand that part. I'm giving this also a 3.5 star because I do acknowledge the things that Tiffany D. Jackson was acknowledging about, trusting your children. You don't know what's happening. You don't know what they're going through on a regular basis as a teenager or as a kid. You don't know what they think. But I do understand that as a parent, you do the best that you can. But also, especially for me, after what I was going through in high school, and especially losing my grandmother, no one knew how I was feeling. No one except for my husband, because I felt safe with him and he was willing to be with me, because during that time I felt alone and all that stuff. And yeah, I had depression. I was going through a lot of depression and stuff like that, and I felt like I was alone in a corner. And that's why I feel like I relate to Piper in a sense, because she felt alone, especially since her grandmother passed away. And so she was acting out and trying to get her family's attention, but nobody was paying attention to her whatsoever, and until the very end where Marigold said, you know what, I should have been there for you, which I do like the acknowledgement that Marigold wasn't there for her and she was just always mean to Piper. So I do understand the acknowledgement of what Tiffany D. Jackson was doing. I don't know, like, especially with the interaction between her stepfather, Alec, and her mom, Raquel, there were certain things that shouldn't have been said, that shouldn't have been done. especially since you're a blended family. And for what Alec was doing and was saying towards Sammy and plus Marigold, I would want to know, why are they together? Why did they marry if he wasn't going to respect her children just like she respects Piper? So it was all over the place for me. But like I said, I do acknowledge the fact that, you know, there was issues that is brought up in this book. But then again, there is no, also I gave it a 3.5 because there is no content warnings at the beginning of the book, if I'm not mistaken. Like, there is none. And I know, like, at the usually at the beginning of books now, a lot of authors place like content warnings like somewhere in the beginning of the book. And so I also gave that a 3.5 just because of that alone, because there's a lot of harmful things in this book that can really harm somebody and hurt their feelings and you know, put them in a place where they don't want to be. So the content warnings that I'll be providing is, you know, it deals with drugs, it deals with depression. I'm going to say depression. It deals with anxiety. It deals with police brutality. It deals with child endangerment. There's a lot in this book that I felt like should been content warnings at the beginning of this book. I don't understand why, because this book, there's a lot going on in this book, like I said, and I felt like, yes, content warnings is definitely something that should have been in the beginning of this book, just to give everybody warning and notice. Because I also felt like, was there any sensitivity readers when she was writing this book? Because it would have let her know, like, okay, there was some stuff in here that really would hurt somebody and harm them, you know, mentally. And so with that, I'm like, okay, there was no sensitivity readers because there's not even content warnings in this book whatsoever. Like I literally was like scrolling through the pages, like seeing any content warnings. So the first thing it says, also by Tiffany D. Jackson, all the books that she's written. Allegedly, Monday's not coming, Let Me Hear a Rhyme, Crown, and Blackout, which she's the co-author of. But I don't see anything else. Nothing at all saying that, you know, content warnings. There are some things that can be very harmful. So give you a heads up and a warning. Nothing like that. So that's why I also give it a low rating, because yeah, it was a lot. I really, really wanted to love this book, but I couldn't, because I know a lot of people loved it. I also know a lot of people that even DNF'd it because they couldn't take it anymore. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna finish this book. I want to give y'all my honest opinion about it as best as I can, because I feel like it's fair to you that I provide that for you, because if you are planning on reading it, there's content warnings in this book. Once again, if you haven't read it and it's on your TBR for this month, for October, that's what it is. I was even crying on certain occasions of this book because it made me go back to how I felt when I was a teenager and what I was going through when my grandmother died. And it brought me back to that past in my life it was terrible for me. And I'm getting all emotional now. And so I feel like if you read this, you should know about it, you know? Like, it harmed me a little bit because it made me have to go back to my past on what happened during my time as a teenager, you know, and feeling alone and having depression and all that. So yeah, content warnings are so important nowadays. So important, because you don't know what anyone has gone through. And if your book has something harmful, many things harmful, you should definitely put content warnings in your books. I feel like that is a must from now on into the future. Like, definitely a must. But like I said, there was some acknowledgments that Tiffany D. Jackson brought up, but there's also some things that I felt like could have been left out. And I also felt like this book ended when it shouldn't have ended. It should have definitely had some type of resolution, or if it was going to be a series, okay, I get that, but I think this is a standalone. Please let me know if I'm mistaken. But yeah, I really wanted to love this book and I didn't. I haven't read Grown yet by Tiffany D. Jackson that came out last year. I'm going to try to read that this year before the year is over, because there's mixed reviews about that book as well. But yeah, that is my little reading vlog for White Smoke. I'm sorry if I sort of and I know there's spoilers. I do understand that. But I wanted to give you my honest opinion about this book. Especially, I'm always giving like high ratings all the time because I really enjoy what I read, but I didn't really enjoy this. It really hurt me in a way where I'm like, it made me go back to my past, which there's nothing wrong with going back to your past, but just let a girl know. Let somebody know about the content warnings. That's all I gotta say. But like I said, a 3.5 star for White Smoke by Tiffany D. Jackson. But anyways, I really hope you enjoyed this reading vlog. I know I had been all over the place and I was giving my honest thoughts and my first reactions, but I felt like it was fair to you on especially what I thought about it. Even if you still want to read it, you can do so. I'm not telling you not to read it. I'm just letting you know how I felt as I was reading it and what my final thoughts are about the book. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you all are participating in the Black Aweenathon, which starts today. But everyone, please stay healthy and stay safe. See ya.